Hey everybody, it's Jeff. It's been a while, 3 weeks to be exact. Hey, if you're watching this video, I'll tell you right now, it's gonna be worth it. We're gonna cover a bunch of things real fast, but I'm gonna throw something interesting in here. I wanna get this video to over 600 views. And let's say 3 days, but 600 views. I think the most views that my videos have had is about 350. So 600, if we get there, I want you, if you're watching the video, to put the word dashcam, D-A-S-H-C-A-M, in the comments below. And if we get to 600, anyone that has dashcam in the comments, I'm gonna throw those names in a hat. And this dashcam, it says it backwards, but this is the same exact thing as the Falcon 360. It's just under a different name. I'm gonna send this to one of you for free. So dash cam in the comments below, 600 views, somebody wins it. Fair? All right, great. So like I said, it's been 3 weeks. I'm gonna do this a little differently. I'm going live on my Facebook page, and I will be sharing this in the UZURV for Drivers Facebook group, which has over 4,000 members. So if we can't get to 600 between the two, then I got to find something else to do anyway with my time. All right, real quick. So we got the dash cam out there. Last time I did a video, I mentioned a little bit about an app that I've been using, and there's other YouTube videos out there and Facebook videos out there about Maestro, M-Y-S-T-R-O. But I've been using Maestro for over a month now, and for those of you that run Uber and Lyft at the same time, this app is great. It's on Android only right now. It's not available on iOS, at least as far as I know. And they did an update a couple weeks ago that fixed a couple bugs, but it's working fine for me, to where it manages Uber and Lyft for you. You set the criteria of the trips that you want to accept, and so far it's working great. There are a few things that I would change, but I know that it is in beta right now, and they're welcoming the feedback. But it's pretty cool. I mean, I'll set it to where, there we go, live broadcast paused. So I just got a Uber XL request, and you know, on the subject of Maestro automatically was going to decline the trip because of distance. So I set it to auto accept anything within 4 minutes, which is pretty short, but I can still see it on the screen, and I can manually override it if I wish. So Uber XL pops up. It looked like it was 9 minutes away. Maestro says this trip will be declined due to distance. I looked at it, noticed that it's an XL request, and I'll drive 9 minutes to go get that in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. Absolutely. So I overrode it, and I'm on my way there. So apologize for the interruption, but hey, Maestro, try it out if you haven't yet. Of course, everything in the rideshare business is based on referrals, so I'll put my referral code in the comments, but it's JG, real simple, Jeff Garcia, JG050325. Yeah, they don't have custom codes, and I really am not into custom codes anyway. So JG050325, download Maestro. Like I said, it's Android. Right now, they're not giving anything out for the referrals. I think once they go into production, then it's going to have maybe some incentive, but right now it's just, I'm sure they're just interested to see who's effective at getting referrals out there. So those are two subjects we covered real quick. We got the dash cam that I'm going to give away, and we got the Maestro app. All right, I'm going to go through two things that one I personally learned about. The other one was a kind of a collaboration with a few drivers with some interesting results. First is, I had a rider tell me that the code that I gave him for Lyft, my Lyft referral, said it was invalid. And I had heard that from a couple of friends, that the code that I gave them, they said was invalid. It's the same code that one of the custom codes that I'd created on Lyft. So finally, I emailed Lyft and I said, I've got reports that the codes are not working. I get a reply from LYFT, and they said, no, the code that you're giving us does not exist on your account. And I said, well, that's funny, because I've been paid many times on that one code that I've been giving out since I've created the custom code when I first started driving for them several months ago. So that was back on, I think, May 20th, May 21st, something like that. And they, if it took them quite a while to get back to me, and when they finally did, their answer was, yeah, the code doesn't exist. So I kept, you have to send multiple emails back and forth, LYFT support, and I said, you need to research this, because I've been paid numerous times on this code. And they looked into it. Took them, like I said, a while to get back to me. Finally, they get back to me and said, yeah, you've been paid 48 times on this particular code. And we noticed that there were 56 attempts on the code. So we're going to give you $10 for the 8 that you didn't get, and we've added $80 to your weekly bonus. And I'm going, well, that's great, but how did it disappear in the first place? They didn't have an explanation. They don't know why, but the code was deleted from my account, and they paid me for the ones that where it was invalid, I guess. Very strange. Then I told them, well, I have purchased hundreds of referral cards with that code on it. And they said, well, send us the receipt for your cards and we'll be glad to reimburse you. And sure enough, I sent them my Vistaprint receipt. It was $79.97, and they instantly, within several minutes, replied back and says, you've been bonused on LYFT for the reimbursement of your cards. So it was a $160 email solution. I could get upset because there's still no resolution as to why the code was deleted in the first place. We'll leave it at that. But they paid me the $160, and I still have the cards, so I'm going to re-sticker them all with the new code that they created for me and go from there. Next story, related to Uber. So one of our fellow drivers, you may know him, Jeffrey Johnson, here in Richmond, picks up a group of clients at the, I say clients, they're a group of trip requesters at the Hilton in downtown Richmond. They want to go to Hollywood, Florida. So he picks them up, starts driving. Well, this was Mother's Day weekend. And Mr. Jeffrey has 2 daughters and a mother of them at home that was probably not too happy that he was leaving town on the Saturday before Mother's Day to go drive to Hollywood, Florida with these guys from the Hilton. So he picks him up, starts driving, and we have our little Voxer channel here where everybody chats, among the driver group here in Richmond, and he started looking for help because he wanted somebody to take over this trip for him. And he gets a hold of me. I suggested, hey, you know what? Let's use UZURV. Let's put it out in the UZURV community and see if we can get somebody to accept this trip. I'm pulling over here so I'm focused on what I'm doing. So I jump on to my computer and I log into the UZURV Facebook pages or groups for Charleston, South Carolina, because he was on his way. He was already in South Carolina by the time he got a hold of me. Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, and Jacksonville, Florida. And we were just trying to see if we could find a driver that would be willing to pick these guys up, start a new trip, and take them to Hollywood, Florida. So sure enough, we get a hold of somebody in Charleston who's willing to do it, and he meets up with Jeff. They meet at a gas station along I-95 and make the exchange. The guys move all their luggage over to the other vehicle. They end Jeff's trip. They resume or start a new. I'm sorry. Because of the 4-hour limit on Uber, Jeff's trip had already ended. But we've had this in the past where drivers just keep driving and they end up getting paid. Well, Jeff had about an extra hour on his trip. He ended it, or it ended automatically. He kept driving about another hour. Switches over. The guy in Charleston picks these guys up, starts a new trip, and he takes off towards Hollywood, Florida. And, from what we found out, yes, the trip was completed. You guys may have even seen my post here in UZURV for Drivers if you're watching this video in that feed back when that happened, Mother's Day weekend. So make a short story long, or a long story short, however you want to look at it, Jeff had a very, very hard time getting paid by Uber for anything over the 4-hour maximum. Now, we had heard that it had been done in the past. They're adamantly not paying it now. So I believe he was able to get some sort of payment out of it, but he did not get it all. And they made it very clear that they will not be paying in that situation again if a driver goes beyond 4 hours and ignores the Uber system generated cutoff. So be aware of that. If you're taking long trips, or you want to go for the world record or anything like that, you're not going to get paid over 4 hours. And I know that on Facebook, just over the last couple days, there was somebody that showed a big trip. I think it went from through Nashville or somewhere in Tennessee, Missouri, somewhere down in the Midwest, Mid-South, and it's saying it's $1,100 or something like that. They're not going to get paid. It may show that in the app, but they're going to run into problems based on what we learned from our incident here. So 4-hour limit on Uber and a $200 limit, those of you that know, on Lyft. Those are hard stops, so just be aware of that, and hopefully you don't run into problems. Last thing I've got, announcement for everybody. As you know, I'm here in Richmond, Virginia, the home of UZURV, and I am going to be relocating back to California, which is where I'm from, and right back to where I lived up to about 4.5 years ago, which is San Jose, California. So I will be back in the San Francisco Bay Area probably around August-ish of this year. I'm trying to put all the logistics together for multiple vehicles and all the moving and the housing situation and all that stuff to make that happen. And it's costing me a pretty penny, and my cost of living is going to be taking a drastic jump upward. But that's where all the family and friends are, and that's where I will be. So I'd love to see your comments below of what should I do for my Uber/Lyft vehicle. I'm probably going to be selling this one. You guys may have seen the post where I have it for sale right now. This is a 2013 Mazda CX-9. I've only had it since November, but this is the third car that I've had for pretty much exclusive for Uber within the last 2 years. So I had my 2008 BMW, which was not an ideal car for Uber. Then I had the 12 Sonata, which was a great car for UberX, but I wanted XL, so I got this one. This one's working out very nicely for XL. Gets decent gas mileage for a 3-row SUV. But for some reason in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco market, this does not qualify as an XL vehicle. A Honda Pilot does, but a Mazda CX-9 doesn't. Explain that one. It also, out there they've got Uber Select, and my 5 Series BMW does qualify as Select, but I don't feel like driving that for rideshare anymore. So, and this isn't the 08 that I got rid of. This is an 11. But anyway, so I need a car ideally that can do Uber Select. The list is very short for that market because I believe that they're picky about the vehicle types there because they have so many drivers. It's the oldest market, right? San Francisco. And the market is huge. It includes half of Northern California. They don't break it up into cities. It's just one big giant market for San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco. They're all in the same market. So Uber Select out there is probably the best way to go. It's in the $275 a mile range, I believe. Uber XL has a very short list. Even my Yukon doesn't qualify for Uber XL out there. It has to be a Yukon XL, and mine's not. And mine's just the regular one. So even though it's 3-row SUV, seat 7, doesn't qualify for Uber XL out there. So those of you that have experience in the Bay, let me know. I'd love to hear your comments. And those of you that don't, just pull up the Uber movement page for San Francisco Bay Area, look through the car listings, and tell me what you like, what you don't like. But I need to figure out what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to pay the money to move this one across the country if I can't use it for Uber XL in that market. So got to switch up cars. Last but not least, UZURV. UZURV obviously continues to be a daily part of the rideshare business, and I finished last month with 7 completed, and it didn't even put me on the list. The list is getting long of top drivers in the number of completed reservations. So I think I've got 4 or 5 already in for this month. I'm having fun out here a couple days a week, rideshare in the mornings, and then a couple nights a week on the weekends. Just, you know, keeping from getting rusty, but just love to hear from everybody. Drop your comments in. I'll be sharing this video. Once again, I'll put the comment or the code for Maestro in the comments so you guys can have that. And remember that if we get this video to 600 views, this camera, it's a dual dash cam with the LCD screen and everything. It's the one that everyone in Richmond has. It's like I said, it's the same as the Falcon 360, which just had a price drop on Amazon to 129 bucks, by the way. You guys will love it. And I can show you the one that I actually run this in my car. It's right here. That's the Falcon 360 version. And I've had that for over a year and a half. So, good seeing everybody. Hopefully the information I shared with you is good stuff. I will go back through these comments and respond to every single one of them. Look forward to seeing everybody or hearing from everybody very soon. And those of you appreciate the comments, those of you that jumped in here on my page, and I'll be sharing this on the UZURV for Drivers page very shortly. I should probably start moving and go get this Excel trip that's been sitting there.